What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Fuck You Podcast, where we have a potential healthy and unhealthy conversations. And I did a thing today. I did a thing that had me under so much anxiety and so much stress. But I was like, I have to take in control of my life, and I need to do what I need to do for self. I quit my second job. Oh my God! Yesterday when I was on the floor and I was doing some stocking. The supervisors, they just kept coming by my station. They just kept staring at me, looking at me. And it just was uncomfortable, And when things are uncomfortable for me, I don't necessarily be like, oh, I'm going to stop. I normally just keep going and say, you know what, pipe down, take you a deep breath. It's not anything. You're overthinking it, right? But this had been going on for quite some time. And it's like, even through silence, you can hear the whispers, right? Or you can feel the jealousy that comes off of other people from your aura. And it's not necessarily, I don't want to say, oh, when people think, oh, you jealous because you look this way or that way. No, sometimes it's not about your looks. It's about your aura. It's about the spirit that you carry, and they don't carry that spirit. But at the same time, I stand 10 toes down on who I am as a woman and as a person. I'm a good person, and I know it. Sometimes we get in these situations where people make us feel like maybe we're not as good of a person as we believe that we are, because maybe something didn't work out, or maybe we had some differences or disagreements, but you know who you are at heart. So I'm at work, and they come, like I said, it's this one particular supervisor. She comes in or whatever, and when she comes to work, things kind of get a little bit tense. She has this difficult type of energy about her. Don't get me wrong, she can be very stern and assertive, which does not bother me. I'm glad that she's a little bit straightforward. She's pretty straightforward, but she indirect. But it's the energy that she carries with her that is not that of it's not inviting, right? It's this egotistical kind of energy that comes about, and it's like it's gotta be, she has to control it, she has to run it, she has to be the boss. And sometimes I feel like she's low-key a bully. She's bullying her other supervisor, for instance. And when it's like that, it's really sad, because you're bullying you're bullying employees, and you're bullying your supervisor. But the other supervisor, she's not as great as her job as this young lady is, right? So she's almost like a follower, and like follow the leader kind of person. So every time she turns around, it's like she has to be like doing what she wants to do, because maybe it could be a situation where it's a lazy stance, right? Where, okay, if you just learn the position, if you do the position the appropriate way, then you don't have to like depend on someone else for the position, right? Hold on, guys. So in hindsight, she kind of like the one supervisor that's kind of lazy. She just kind of like sit back. And I'm gonna be honest with you, even when the one that's like the overachiever, she kind of talks down to the one that she feels like is lazy, because she feel like she can. Why can't I? Like, girl, you don't do enough stuff. You know what I'm saying? I do most of this stuff around here. So she kind of like has that upper hand. She kind of used that to her advantage. And it's so, I don't like it. It's disheartening, because I'm like, why are you talking to her like that? Or why are you treating her like that? And she's a sweet girl. She is a sweet woman. She really gets along with everybody. And it's unfortunate, because everybody on the team, they kind of be like, man, we really like her, but she be just going along with the get along and this and that. And it's like, don't nobody got time for that. Like, that's rude, and sometimes when people being rude like that, you're going to have your day. Every dog has its day. And I'm not saying that I gave them a piece of my mind, because I didn't. I just was like, thank y'all for the opportunity. I appreciate working here. I said, but if y'all keep having to, pull me to the side, this and that, blah, 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 then I'm just going, you know what I'm saying? I'm just going to be gone. I'm just going to go and get out the way or whatever. I said, and thank y'all. And I don't want y'all manager to keep talking to y'all about me. like I'm making a running the team or bringing the team down. Not only that, like sometimes the one manager who, she's a little okay, so she's a stud, right? But like sometimes when like you stocking and when she come over there and talk to you, she be coming down the aisle like she hella tough. Like she be walking down the aisle like she hella tough. And it be like, why are you walking towards somebody like you finna, like y'all finna fight or something? Like you getting ready to like throw some bows? Cause I ain't gonna lie, one day I was in the aisle and she came down the aisle and she was like, what's going on? And I'm like, what? Like I gave her that look like, hold on, like who you talking to? Because you not gonna. And I was sitting down putting something at the bottom of the shelf. So I'm like, I'm not sitting down, I'm like really stooping down all the way to the floor basically. So when she walked up on me, the way she walked up on me, like she was super tough, like something was gonna happen. And I ain't gonna lie, all I could see myself doing was uppercutting her ass. Like, girl, if you don't get your ass back. And I one thing for certain about me, one thing for certain, two things for sure, I am not the one that you finna run up on in that type of way. Yes, I am nice, I'm polite, I'm kind, I'm all those things, I'm generous, everything. But at the end of the day, when you start walking up on me like it's finna be something, I'm the type of person, I gotta get my lick off first, because bitch, I wish you would. that could be the detriment of me or whatever. But at the end of the day, who are you? Why are you walking up on people like that? When you walking up on somebody or you walking towards somebody, just walk toward them. You ain't gotta be walking up on them like something finna happen. I'm like, damn, why you got your chest out? So one day she had came to me and she was like that, and we had kind of had a couple words in the office, because she was like, yeah, in this aisle you had only 2 hours and 32 minutes, and it's been longer than that. Did you know how much time you had? I said no. And she was like, so she never told you how much? She was telling me that the other manager, she was like, she never told you how much time you had? I said no, she didn't. She was like, well, yeah, you had 2 hours and 32 minutes. And I said, so she like kind of trying to tell me something, but I'm thinking to myself like, okay, so we finna go back and forth about the time. Clearly I'm over the 2 hours and 32 minutes, because at this point I done came, you coming to me now after lunch. Now we have an hour lunch, so the first 4 hours you ain't say nothing. You waited until after lunch to come to me. So you waited 5 hours to come to me and tell me that I only had 2 hours and 32 minutes on something to do. Once again, she did the same thing tonight. When she called me in the office and she like, yeah, come to the office or whatever. So when she called me in the office, she like, yeah, I just wanted to talk to you about this, Ma, and I know that we have several conversations, and what you're not gonna do, bitch, is try to bully me. What you're trying to do is, bitch, you trying to like have some type of power over me, bitch. I'm not gonna allow that. I'm not gonna allow it. First of all, I'm working overnight, bitch, and I'm halfway tired from my first job, bitch. I know I'm not finna let this job deter me from my first job, bitch, where I got longevity and I got shit going on and 401k. I got shit built up into that. So I'm gonna let y'all say so much to me until it's like, you know what, maybe I'm just not getting it. So anyway, the last time when she came to me, when she was walking up on me all tough and shit, she had said, I said, so what? I mean, what, you finna write me up? Because what the fuck, we finna go back and forth about the time, and I told you nobody said nothing to me about the time, because you never came down to, and the crazy part is, she came down my aisle a couple times and she never said nothing to me, and tried to make it seem like I came down here and I said something. Bitch, you didn't come down here and say nothing to me, because if you did, I would have heard you. Are you sure you didn't have your, bitch, I ain't have my earbuds in, I fucking can hear. You know what I mean? So she came down the aisle, she had got some crackers, then she went back up to the aisle to talk to the other supervisor. They stood up at the aisle for a minute, then they looked, and I had another pallet up there to actually work. So they walked away, but they never said shit to me. But I'm gonna tell y'all something. The week prior to that, she ended up, the one that's a little bit laid back, the nicer one, she ended up asking me some questions, and I kind of said it like it's my personal business, right? And I felt her energy shift. And when a motherfucker energy shift, it's like her energy shifted to like that space of, Bitch, who you talking to? Like that. Like, I'm gonna get you. Okay, bitch, I'm gonna get you back, because you can't say nothing to me about certain things, right? So I felt like it led up to that first encounter where she was, when she walked up on me, and I was stooped down on the floor trying to put something in the on the shelf. So anyway, I just knew from the previous week that she was gonna call me into the office for something. She was gonna find something. So boom, we go into the office or whatever. So she was like, I said, so are you gonna write me up or whatever? I said, what? So she was like, nah, but we're gonna have a conversation. I'm like, okay. So 45 minutes go by, and they call me to the office. So when they call me to the office, she like, yeah, I had came down the aisle and I had said that you only had 2 hours. I said, you never said nothing. So she was like, well, I did. I remember just saying it or whatever. Did you have your earphones in? I said, no, I didn't. And yeah, I'm standing there, I'm just looking at this point, you know what I mean? And so she was like, are you sure? Because I did say, I said, nobody said nothing. I said, and she came down the aisle and got some fucking crackers. And I wasn't cursing y'all, but I said, she came down the aisle and got some crackers. I said, she said nothing to me, and she went back up. I said, you all stood at the end of the aisle and y'all walked off. She was like, oh, well, I got it on camera that I came down there and I said something, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, let me see the camera. Let me see that you came down the aisle and said something to me. And she was like, I can show you the footage. I said, I want to see it. And it's like, well, you can't come in the office where we do the footage, but I can send you a recording. Like, I can record some of what I'm talking about. I said, and I want to hear the audio to it too. I don't want to just see the footage. I want to hear the audio to it too, because bitch, you never said nothing to me. So boom, they going back and forth with me or whatever, and I'm just sitting there. I said, okay, so what? I said, she was like, so you think we was finna write you? I said, I don't know what y'all finna do. I said, I'm just asking. I said, not only that, I said, I just want to put this on the table. I said, last week, and this is when I brought it up. I said, last week, I remember you and I when I was talking to the nicer one, and I was like, you and I remember us having a conversation, and I told you it was my business. I said, but I can feel your energy shift, and I felt like this was going to happen. And I said, and I already knew tonight was going to be the night that it happened. I felt that you were going to call me in this office, and this is what was going to happen. I said, and I don't mean no harm. I said, but I'm not going to be targeted or none of that. You know what I mean? If this what is finna be, then I'm going to be out. So she was like, I can't believe you think that I would do that, blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah, but you're not going to show your hand. If I'm telling you that I see something, as a supervisor, you're not going to be able to take that in, because you ain't going to be able to be like, yeah, I was going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're a supervisor, you're supposed to be showing up. You're supposed to be an example for other people, right? You're not going to just show your hand. And that's what I don't be understanding. She like, I would never do that. Yes, the fuck you would do it. You just not going to show your hand. You just not going to tell me that you would do it. This one I don't like about people. They act like we not energy readers. Like we don't know what it feel like when people energy shift. We don't know what it feel like when people stop. If a motherfucker stop talking to you today or tomorrow, you're gonna feel like, I wonder why they stopped talking to me. If you know that y'all might have had a couple 2-3 words or whatever, or something you might have said just threw the situation off, then what's gonna happen? You're gonna feel the energy shift of that, right? So my thing is, people be acting like you don't feel the energy shift of certain things that happen and certain things that go on. Bitch, we not crazy. We not weird. We can feel when things go weird and go awry. So in the process of that, she like, well, I would never do that. And I really, you know what I'm saying? That's not the type of person I am. I don't believe you that type of person, but I believe that you're getting this other young lady in on it, and you know, y'all probably. It's just that kind of, and I said, not only that, I said, if you came to me in 5 hours, I said, the type of person, which I was talking to the one that's a little more stern, that's the stud. I said, for you, I said, if I was in that aisle and it was only 2 hours and 32 minutes for me to be in that aisle, I said, because I know how you roll, you would have came to me even at an hour and a half and said, hey, you know, you got XYZ amount of time left in this aisle. It's only 2 hours and 32 minutes. I said, but you said nothing. I said, you allowed 5 hours to go past, and then you came to me about 2 hours and 32 minutes. Baby, please. This was a setup. That's why you never came and said nothing to me, because you wanted to bring me in the office. Y'all wanted to say something to me. You had to say something to me, and that's what you're going to use. Not only that, tonight, when I left the premises, what she did was she was like, yeah, You know, when you was doing this, you only had 48 minutes to do it, to drop tags on all this and that stuff. Girl, please. Girl, please. I had 5 sections, and I know you ain't thinking that I'm just gonna drop tags. You know what? I was just talking to I was just talking to one of my coworkers. I said, you know what? Maybe I should just drop the tags in there and just walked off. Then it would have been, oh, you didn't clean it up over there. You ain't straightened everything up. You ain't pull the stuff up to the front. You ain't do this and you ain't do that. Stop telling me what the fuck I need to do. And if you feel like it's supposed to be 48 minutes, then why the fuck you didn't do it? Why the fuck you can't get over there in 48 minutes and get the shit done? Because you cannot get it done in 48 minutes. My thing is with these people, sometimes that they, you know, like sometimes people putting a time on something that they can't even put a time on. You don't even know what the fuck you talking about. You just running your motherfucking mouth because you can, and that ego of yours feel like you gotta be able to have something over me. And this is why I talk about bitches be jealous of your aura. They be jealous of your aura. It's me and this other dude. We cool in there. We real cool, and we be talking and stuff. We used to be talking and stuff, but now I done stopped talking to him because now every time if I have to work in an area where he at, they staring and shit at me. They watching me work. What the fuck is you watching me for? You don't got no reason to be watching me. Don't be watching me. You don't got to watch me around him. Nothing's happening. What the fuck? And so that kind of shit like that, I don't like that. Because bitch, you micromanaging me, but is you micromanaging everybody else? And it's one dude in here, they let this nigga, he just do whatever the fuck. This nigga, I'll be all fucked up. He don't even be having everything together the way he's supposed to have it together. He be running into overtime and all types of shit. Bitch, I get the fuck in and get the fuck up out of there. I ain't trying to get on your clock. And like I told them one time, they was like, you had all this stuff, and I said, listen, I wasn't trying to get no overtime. Bitch, I'm trying to get home. I have a child to take to school. I gotta get online for my first job. I'm not trying to be here in no motherfucking overtime. Bitch, please cancel that. Y'all want me to rush? Tell me something. We need you to work with a sense of urgency. Bitch, I do. As much urgency I can work with, I'm working with it, bitch. What is you talking about? Because now you just trying to find something wrong, and I'm not for that shit. I don't like that. I hate when a motherfucker try to do that. Like you, at this point, you just itching to fuck with me about something, and I'm not going. Y'all, I wasn't going, and I ain't give a fuck. So tonight, when I left the job, I was like, you know what? Thank y'all so much. I let her talk. I let her get it out, y'all. She was like, you know, you it can't be this, it can't be that. I let her get that shit out. She said everything she needed to say, and then she said, you understand? I said, listen, I said, I thank y'all for the opportunity. Thank you so much. I said, I really appreciate it because you didn't have to give it to me, but you did. I said, but what I am going to do is I'm going to give you all your phone back, and I'm going to head out. I'm going to go home and get me some rest. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not getting ready to do a motherfucking thing when it comes to me at all. And that's the thing. People want to be able to say what they can to you, and I'm not going. I'm not going. You know what? God got something else in store for me, and I need to focus on it. You know what I'm saying? And I need to get to the getting. So, y'all, if y'all in situations where it's really something holding on to you that's not good for your energy, and it does not resonate with who you are as a person and what you got going on in your aura, get the fuck from around there. Don't get me wrong. We all have different shit that we go through, different shit that we have going on. But at the end of the day, we can't allow people to treat us any kind of way just because they feel like they can. And that goes for any fucking job, even the job that I'm at now. I'm just not getting ready to. I'm at this point in my life where I'm not getting ready to let people just walk all over me. I'm not there no more. I just don't have it for nobody. You know what I mean? I really don't. I feel like it's too much going on in this world for us to already have to deal with stressful, you know, in these situations be very stressful. You know what I mean? They be very stressful, and sometimes a person is making it more stressful for you to even come to work and get a check than it is just to, you know what I'm saying, be who you are. So I have gotten to a point in my life where I'm like, you know what, respectfully, I'll be all right. I'm gonna be fine. God has put different things in this world for us to utilize to make money. DoorDash, Instacart, Shift, Uber Eats. You know, it's so many different ways for us to make money. What I'm not finna do is allow somebody to trick me out of who I am and what I stand for, if that makes any sense. So if you are a person that is struggling with kind of like pushing through, knowing who you are, figuring out what's for you, if a situation is making you uncomfortable, at this point in our lives, we have to start stepping out on faith, and we have to start stepping out with God. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know how I'm gonna make no extra money, but like I said, it's different ways out here. God has planted seeds, and not only that, I do her. Lord, bring an abundance of people in here that need to get their hair braided. That's what I'm gonna ask God. Bring an abundance of people in here that need to get their hair braided, and guess what? I'm gonna continue to push through with what I need to push through on the back end of the things, my purpose, and the things, my passions, the things that I want to do. With that being said, you guys, thank y'all for joining me tonight, and we are out.